Hi, everyone. My name is Mrs. Mauriello, and I am one of the first grade teachers at Mars River Township Elementary School. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight, even if it is by video, to share with you some information about our class for our would-be virtual back to school night. First off, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for being so amazing with your kiddos, whether it be helping them find the correct page, helping them with a technology issue such as mute or unmute, or even just being there in the background telling them good job or keeping them focused. I also want to thank you for showing patience with me as I work through the technology issues. I know this is tough at home, and I'm trying my best to make this as easy as possible for you and also your kiddos. Lastly, I want to thank you, and most importantly, I want to thank you for welcoming me into your home and for allowing me to learn with your child. It's truly a privilege to be their teacher, and it's truly one of my life's greatest works is working with children and helping them learn and grow. So thank you very much for that. I wanted to start out by telling you about two people who will be working with your kiddos this year. We have two awesome student teachers who will be with us all year this year. So for your child's entire year in first grade. For right now, our two student teachers are with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays for their fall semester. Right now, they're logging onto Zoom with us, and they are helping in breakout rooms to give a little bit more small group attention to some of your kiddos, and we will try to rotate that as much as possible. In the spring semester, they will be with us full time. So in the spring semester, I mean around January until usually the end of April. And they will both be with us every day. Some of their roles and responsibilities right now include making lesson plans, doing a lot of observation, and teaching just a couple lessons apiece. And while they are teaching lessons, I'm always there supervising. I'm always there making sure everything is what your child should be learning. And I'm also there to help them if they need it. We have Miss Hatton, who comes to us from Rowan University. And we also have Miss Tuman, who comes to us from Stockton University. They both have been so amazing and are loving working with your children so far. This is a great opportunity for them, but also a great opportunity for your children because that means there are three of us. And that means a lot more attention that your children need and deserve. So we are moving along. I wanted to talk to you about our daily schedule. We are doing fabulous with our daily Zooms every single morning. We start at 8:30 with our check-in. We're starting right now with pictures, and I'm going to gradually get them to do some writing because the more writing we do, the better. We always do our pledge. We have the news with Mrs. Bornhart, and we will also be starting social emotional learning. We know that this pandemic has been really tough, not only for the grown-ups, but also for the children. So we're going to just do a couple lessons every week to really focus on making sure that they are expressing their feelings in a healthy and safe way. After we are done our morning meeting time, we will have math, which usually consists of a small group lesson, and then chances for the students to practice it together with me, and then a couple times for them to practice independently to really get to know the strategy or the standard that we're working on. After math, we will have writing time. Writing works on a unit type plan, which means on Monday, we'll usually read a story or discuss things to help us get ideas for what we're going to write about. After that, we usually start doing some writing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Thursday is usually our share day. Now, one thing that we do a lot of in first grade is modeling, which means I will do some of my own writing about the topic so that your children can see what a good writer should do. And they have a lot of fun with this, helping get ideas and helping to learn a little bit about my life. And then they can help pretend that they are like me and figure out what they want to add to our story. And so it's a really good way for them to practice their writing and gathering their ideas in a safe and supported way. After writing, we move on to Foundations, which is our phonics program. And our Foundations program really focuses on the why sounds work the way they do, and the rules for different sounds. Our Foundations program is very much multisensory, which helps students learn. When I say multisensory, I mean that they're using more than one sense at the same time. So you've seen your child do things like skywriting, and I'm sure you've seen your child do things like tap things out, which looks like this. At, cat. So they're saying it, they're hearing it, and they're moving their fingers all at the same time, which helps to make connections in the brain. So that will be one of the main ways that we're working on learning how to spell and how to read words. We will also, during our foundations time, focus on trick words or sight words, words that we have to just know by looking at them, words that we cannot sound out. After foundations, we will hopefully most days get to do a read aloud where we focus on reading skills, where they get to kind of relax a little bit and just listen to a nice story, talk about the story. Hopefully soon we will get into a chapter book where I read the chapter book to them and they have to just kind of sustain their ideas and thoughts about the story for over multiple days. So that's a good strategy for first graders to do. So all of that is going to be done live on Zoom. We'll take a break after that read aloud, and then we'll come back together for small group instruction between 11:30 and 1:30. Now, we've been doing assessment individually right now, but next week we are going to be starting small group instruction, which means I'm going to be taking a couple of your kiddos and working all together with them on different skills and strategies, sometimes reading, sometimes math. The rest of their lessons that they are responsible for are science, social studies, grammar, and specials. These are all pre-recorded lessons that they will have access to on Seesaw. They can be completed at your leisure and are due by Friday at 1 o'clock. One thing that we added this year that we didn't have in the springtime was a parent checklist. Now, the parent checklist is basically a document that houses all of our plans for the following week. You can find it at the MRTES website by going there and then finding my personal website. I also email it to you at the email address that I have on file. And I've sent a couple emails already, so if you haven't received any from me, or if they're going to an email address that you don't prefer to use anymore, please reach out to me and I can always update that. And then I also share it to anybody who is using the family app on Seesaw. Now, many of you are probably thinking, why do I need to look at it? Well, some of the feedback that we got about the springtime home learning was that you would like to know a little bit more about what your kiddos should be learning or what we will be teaching them. And some of you had also expressed interest in knowing what materials might be needed. So here's on this slide a little snapshot of what the checklist looks like. It tells you what lessons we're doing, what pages we're doing, what materials your child will need, any links that they may need throughout the lesson, or anything that they might find on Seesaw. So I do encourage you to use this and to also look through it, as it'll have a lot of important information about your child's schedule. Now, I mentioned briefly that some of your child's activities will appear on Seesaw. They will appear every Monday morning so that you don't have to worry about anything over the weekend. Everything that's on Seesaw is complete at your own pace. So if Monday is not a good day for you, then you can do it sometime on Tuesday. The assignments in Seesaw are all reviewed and looked at, and participation in the Seesaw activities does count towards their grade. All their assignments are due by 1 o'clock on Friday. So at 1 o'clock on Friday, I will archive all their activities to clean everything up and get ready for next week's activities. Now, even when we do return to in-person or hybrid instruction, we will still continue to use Seesaw because not everyone will be in person, and it's also a great way for the students to interact with lots of different information. Now, your students, or my students, excuse me, your children are all using the class app. Now, some of you have downloaded the family app as well, which is a separate app, and I do encourage you to get it if you have not done so already. Some of the benefits of a grown-up having the family app is that it's a communication tool where I can message you directly and you can message me directly, whether it's something's going on at home and you want to make me aware of, or your child was having difficulty with something at home and you want to let me know. But I can also reach out to you and share some of my thoughts or my insights that I see, whether we are in person or hybrid. It's also linked directly to your child. So one of the benefits of that is you will see everything that they are doing on Seesaw. You will see any growth that they're making on different skills, but you'll also see some of the mistakes that maybe they're making that you want to help them with if you're able to when you're at home. So if you have not downloaded the Family app yet, please, I do encourage you to do so. And if you need any help with that, I am happy to help you. Now, we have been asking all your kiddos to submit work to us on Seesaw. Now, some of you are doing fabulous with that, and I do appreciate it. But in case you're not sure how to submit work, you're going to have your child go into the class app. You're going to hit that green plus sign that says add, and then you're going to decide what you want to send, what you want to send to me and how you want to send it. So if you see that image at the bottom of the slide, this is what will pop up when you click on that green plus that says add. Photo, upload, drawing, video, or link. And that's where your child can take a picture of their work, or if you choose to download it onto your computer and upload it, that's fine as well. But most of the time, your child will use a photo. If they're sending me photos of the work, I do encourage you to either put it flat on a table so it's not blurry and I can see it clearly, or if they do need to hold it up, it sounds really silly, but I encourage them to hold it right up to their forehead because that will help them hold it still and it won't be so blurry when I go to look at it. Now, every day we are going to need something submitted. We're going to ask for the page that we ask your kiddo to circle in their math book to be sent to us. And I know it seems tedious, but when we are in this virtual environment, it's very hard for us to see exactly what's going right and what's being difficult for your child. So when you send us a page every day, that will give us a clue if we need to alter what we're teaching or alter our instruction to make sure that we're touching base and helping those that need help or need some redirection. Also, whenever we are done for the week with writing, we will ask you to submit that so that we can grade it. And there will be other things too that will need to be submitted, like a math test or a foundations test. But typically, for the most part, it's going to be a math page every day and a writing every week. And then depending on when we have a test, we will always let you know what we need you to submit. So again, that information would either be emailed to you or sent to the Seesaw Family app. Also, when we start guided reading, once we are done working with your child, we will ask them to do some type of activity, whether it be draw a picture of the characters in the book or something like that, and then they will have to send us some work with that. Now, here's another thing that I want to tell you. What if you see that your child has made some mistakes? Well, if they make a mistake on Seesaw, and it's just a minor one, I may just let it go. But if there's a lot of things that I see they need to fix, I will send it back to them with a comment, and I will ask them to try it again. And one thing I do want to stress is whether it be in writing or whether it be in math, when you send me a picture, please let it be of your child's work. And I love that parents want to help their kiddos, but we do need to see the mistakes in order to accurately instruct them, but also to accurately decide, are they meeting the standards? Because their work is what will really ultimately decide that. So if you are helping them with spelling things and helping them solve things, it's going to give me the impression that they understand things when maybe they don't. And I want to make sure that we catch everyone before they get too far along with misunderstanding things. So mistakes are welcome on Seesaw. Mistakes are welcome on anything that they submit to me. That's how they learn. That's how we all learn. Now, one thing that will be a little bit new is our afternoon group schedule. So up until this point, we've been meeting one-on-one with your child to do a lot of information gathering. We're trying to see what are your child's strengths and what are your child's weaknesses. Now, we've used this information to create some groups for math and reading. Now, these groups are based on their ability and they're designed to meet your child's needs. Now, I am asking you to please make every effort to have your child attend during this time because this is where we're really going to be focusing on their specific needs as a reader and their specific needs in math. So if you get the parent checklist and you go down to the guided reading section, you will see something that looks just like this image. And you'll see different groups, the green group, the orange group, the pink group. And then you'll also see on Friday we have different groups, the eagle group, the dog group, the cat group, the otter group. Fridays are going to be our math day. The other days are going to be for guided reading. Now, please, please make sure that you are on time with your child because I don't want to miss any seconds of our instruction time. Now, what I mean by that is these times that I have on the schedule are the times that I want to be working with your child. So I will not let your child in until we are done the group before. So that might mean they sit in the waiting room for a few minutes if you get them on early. But my goal, and this may be a little tough the first week until we get used to it, is to have everyone at least on for 25 minutes. And I'm only going to allow about 5 minutes wiggle room for getting logged on. So if you can please do everything you can to just get them ready, get them in the waiting room. That will help to make sure they're ready to go when it is their time. Your child will be meeting 3 times a week in the afternoon. Now, because this schedule is made based on your child's needs, these times cannot be changed, unfortunately. We may have to alter the schedule at some point if your child's doing really well and we want to change them to a different group, but we would never change it without giving you notice. So when you see that checklist come home on Fridays via your email or Seesaw, I do encourage you to please check when your child is scheduled for the afternoon. And maybe you want to take that up somewhere wherever they're doing their work. Another thing that we altered a little bit as we did some of the home learning is we noticed that the virtual behavior is a little bit different to handle than in-person behavior. So instead of doing it based on each child, we're trying to do a whole class-oriented approach. So the reason for that is that they really have to count on their classmates and know that everyone is depending on them for their best behavior and their best work effort. Now, as you can see on that bottom picture, that's what we're using right now to count compliments for the class. So if I notice that the whole class is doing a fabulous job, I will give something called a class compliment. Our goal is that if they can get 10 by Friday we will do a little bit of shortened lesson and have Fun Friday. And we do rewards like a scavenger hunt, show and tell, go noodle, or maybe a dance party. And we're hoping that this will motivate them throughout the week to do their best, because I know it's a lot of work for them to be on the computer for that amount of time, and we move fast. We don't have as much time for games and fun stuff because we have limited time together on the computer. So we want to make the most of every second. But if they know they have something fun coming for them on Friday, it might motivate them to work their best until we get to Friday. Now, another question that comes along a lot is, how are we grading in first grade? Now, I know I mentioned in my previous video that we do standard-based grading. Now, what that means is we are focusing on their growth towards the specific things that a first grader needs to learn. Now, we're not focusing on a letter grade, they got an A, they got a B, they got a C. We are focusing on, if our standard is to read trick words, we want to know how they are able to do that. Are they able to read all trick words? Are they able to read some? Are they able to read none? And that'll give you a better picture about what your child needs work on and what they're really amazing at if we look at the standard. If I just told you they're getting an A or a B in language arts, you won't really have any idea what it is that they're struggling with or what it is that they're really amazing at. So we're really going to focus on the standards, the things that they need to learn in first grade. Now, the students follow basically what you see on this little picture here. Oh, I apologize. I just want to go back one time. What they see on this little picture here. If I ask them what their learning scale is, they would tell me I'm a 1, which means I really don't understand it yet, and they still need my help. Are they a 2? I'm beginning to understand it, but I'm not quite there. I can't do it all on my own. A 3 on the learning scale means I got this. I can do it. All right, you don't need any help. If they think that they are a 4, then that means they're an expert and that they could teach someone. So if I move this up here, you can see all the levels of the learning scale. And that's what I ask them to tell me. And that's what I eventually want them to truly understand. I tell them all the time, I don't want you to tell me you were a 4 if you're really a 2. And I'm teaching them because I want them to be honest and give me their best opinion on how they think they understand it. A lot of times kids think, oh, Mrs. Mauriello just wants to hear that I'm a 4, so I'm going to tell her I'm a 4. But I don't want to hear that. I want to hear what they think that they are, because that allows me to help them the best. If they tell me a 1, that's a way for me to know they're really not feeling confident with what they're doing, and they may need me to give it to them or try an approach in a different way. Now, for your information, we consider a 4 advanced proficiency. That means they've surpassed what we would expect of a first grader to do. If they are a 3, I want you to understand that 3 is exactly where we want them to be at the end of the year. Okay? It might not be something that they achieve at the beginning of the year, especially in something like writing. Writing is more kind of like the idea of riding a bike. You start with maybe a tricycle, eventually you move on to training wheels, and then you're riding a 2-wheeler. Writing is the same idea. We're just learning in the beginning of the year. So they may only be a 1 or a 2 in the beginning of the year, and that's okay. But hopefully, as we start to approach the end of the year, we'll start to see a few more 3s, and maybe we'll even see some 4s. And again, you can refer to the rubric that was sent home with you for writing on how specifically we will scale and grade their writing in terms of that example. But for all other subjects, if they're a 2, that means they're partially proficient. If they're a 1, that means they're not quite there at all, and we still need to offer them a lot of help. But again, my goal for all students is to be a 3 at the end of the year in all subjects. But again, knowing that they might not get there right away. The last thing I wanted to share is every day I do have office hours via Zoom from 2:30 to 3:25. Now, I will not just leave the Zoom open. The reason is because it does like to kick us off if we don't have anyone in there. So if you would like to meet with me, or if your child would like to meet with me, all you have to do is send me an email or a message, and I will tell you what time you can hop on. And if I only have to schedule it if we have a couple people that are hopping on that day. But otherwise, that time is there in case you need to talk to me as the grown-up, or if your child needs to talk to me about something. I am there to help, and I don't want you to ever hesitate to contact me. My job is to teach your child, but it's also to help you work with your child. So whatever I can do to help them and to help you, I want to do. So in closing, I really hope that your child has a magical, it'll definitely be a memorable year in first grade. And if you have any questions or any concerns ever, please know I am here to help, and I'm here for your child. I'm really looking forward to a great year. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our back to school video. And if you have any questions or any concerns that I didn't answer in this video, please reach out to me. I'm looking forward to working with you this year. Thank you so much.